swear I'm getting more wonky by the day, but let's not dwell on that. Oh, I won't dwell on that at least. I might do a little bit. Yesterday's video went a little bit off-piste, I realised that, and the audio wasn't fantastic because I was driving. I realised that as well. The earpods I was using, they're good, but they're not fantastic, and obviously I'm using the front-facing camera on my phone as well, which again isn't ideal. Just road noise is road noise. I haven't got a super posh car that isolates it too much, so it is what it is. Occasionally I do apologize about that. Today, what's been going on? Well, it's been a busy and stressful one. It's going to be a mental weekend. I've got a fair bit to do, and some stuff isn't working how I need it to work, which is highly annoying. I've got some banking situation to get sorted out for my car. That's going to be annoying, and that is the priority. That has to be done. I've got some freelance that I have to get done as well. And what else? What else is going on this weekend? I don't know. I definitely need to get out the house. I've not left the house again today. And as soon as I finish work, I'm going to get handed the small version of me to entertain while the missus has some downtime. So my step count. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I had one of those really hot noodle things for lunch. My step count is going to be insanely low, and I am starting to feel a lack of movement, so I am trying to get out. Not sure I'll get any hobby in, but last night recorded a podcast that went on longer than we thought. We ended up talking for a significant amount of time. That's hopefully going to come out on Monday. I need to edit that. That's the other thing that I'm going to be working on this weekend. But because of the length of the podcast, I can't use the normal tool that I normally use. I'm going to have to cut up into smaller chunks and work on it, and then export it in multiple segments and then combine it back afterwards. It's not fun. I'm possibly going to get a Podbean subscription next year if I carry on doing the podcast, because I think it'll be significantly easier. What else has changed? Nothing else has changed. I went to Murfield Miniatures on the way to play Warhammer yesterday, and you can't see too well from this, but my selection of books for Warhammer is growing. I think I've literally now bought him out of all of his older battle tomes, or at least one of all of the older ones that it had, and I did get a book as well that I really wanted. It was a good price. I did pick it up. It's got some beautiful artwork in it, and it's a girthy tome. So yeah, normally I pay like £4 each for those now, instead of like the 34, 36 quid, whatever they are when they're new, which is fantastic. And I've got a collection roster, so I know what I'm looking for and I'm buying it now, and it's quite fun to collect them. I'm looking forward to having my first full set of books. I've also applied to be a contributor to Lexicanum, because there is stuff like this, like say these books, there is a lot of information that's missing chronologically if you're somebody like myself that wants to build a collection of something. That information isn't there, like publishing dates of what it is, like all of the various covers. There's some of it, but there's gaps in the information. It's all community driven. So I've applied to be an actual contributor to that. And I had an interesting chat on the back of this, and this is something that I personally don't understand in people, and think's a downer in society that folk think like this. And it doesn't matter what it is. I'm using my little War Dollies Warhammer as an example of this. So like I say, all of the knowledge about this game, all of the timelines when it was created, all of the stories, all of the elements, the characters, how they interplay with each other. A lot of that information is obviously that's there in Games Workshop's records. It's not publicly available, so communities come together to put together things like wikis and information resource hubs, and that information needs to be curated. and I was explaining that I was excited to both apply to be a contributor, and I've actually been accepted to be a contributor from that. But a couple of people vouch for me. And they don't understand why you would want to do something like that, putting in time and effort for no monetary gain or for no thanks from anybody. And that's what I want to talk about for the rest of this video. That mentality, regardless of what it is, of not wanting to give something back to a community, to people, to anyone without gain for your own part, is something that I find absolutely abhorrent. I think it's a vile trait in people that they don't want to help each other. And regardless of how bitter you might be, how old you are, and how much you hate the place that you live, the society that you live in, all of these things, the government, yet whatever, people are just people, and knowledge should be shared. And don't control it. Like, don't keep that to yourself. What harm is it? Why is it stupid, and why is it silly to want to give back to other people to help them do something? If I'm doing it now anyway, and collating that information for my own purposes, and there's a repository that I used to start that understanding of knowledge, to figure out that timeline, and there's gaps in the timeline, and then I can fill them in, why wouldn't I do that so that somebody else doesn't have to do it? That's what knowledge sharing is. And that is, it's what the open source community is based on. This hoarding of knowledge, thinking it's power, and that, like, well, I've done it, you should do it as well, is absolutely sickening. It properly winds me up. And if you think like that, then you should really take a long look at yourself and think, are you really a good person? Do you understand what it's like to live in a civilized society where, what if you're doing that sort of thing, what makes you any different to people hoarding money? I mean, at the end of the day, it's some knowledge on a wiki. Why wouldn't I want to do it? It's bizarre that how people's minds work, and that there's that separation between them and us, and this self-perpetualization of wanting to be better and not giving something back, and a transaction for every single thing. It doesn't have to be. You can do something and help somebody speculatively for nothing. And if we all did more things like that, we'd be in a much better place as a society. That's why there's certain things, thinking about, like, what comes to mind is Volvo. Volvo, if you didn't know, originally developed the seatbelt, and how many lives of seatbelts saved over the past 50 years. Okay? They could have patented that. Instead, what they said was, we've got this device that we've put in our cars, this is making them safer. They put that out there for the rest of the world to utilize. Yes, some people perhaps have monetized that, but at the time Volvo did that. That's made everything safer. It's made transportation safer for everybody globally, when they could have made money for it. And Google did something similar years ago with the efficiency of their rack mount power supplies in their data centers. They were significantly more power efficient than anything else on the market. But instead, do you know what they did? They didn't sell those. They made the design open source so that anybody could use that design, because at the end of the day, energy as a resource, the power has to come from somewhere, doesn't it? Be it oil, be it solar, whatever. If you can make something more efficient, then that's better for everybody, for the planet, for us as a civilization. We're never going to progress if you hoard everything and just refuse to help everybody because you're bitter about whatever thing there is that's making you that way. And I know this is rich coming from me, who is a proper miserable git half the time, and I hate some people, but I think I'm inherently a good person, and yeah, I'm looking forward to contributing to that. So I don't think I'm silly and stupid for doing it. I think that person is an idiot for having those views, but that's just me. Anyway, rant over for today. I'm going to go. This has been another fairly long one, hasn't it? Right, I'm going to go and crack on with some more work. So I forgot to do something for my placement student, and I need to do it so I can get graded. So yeah, Have a good one. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, and have a good evening and all that. I've already said that. Why? I'm just going to go. See ya.